Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a package to unbox, and then I want to talk about stropping. Okay, I am no expert, but I think it's a fun topic, and I got some cool stuff to show you, so let's check it out. This one here is from Lacey, so I believe it's LeftyEDC. I don't know, one of hers is different, the Instagram, the YouTube, I'm not sure. I don't know how much she posts on YouTube. Unfortunately, I haven't had the time to go find the channel yet, but definitely go check it out. If I can link it down below, I certainly will. But she also sells stropping and sharpening equipment. So if you are somebody who strops, sharpens, then you may want to know this because she has, from what I understand, very good pricing on her products. So let me show you what I got. So, all right, that's it. So what I bought was two more diamond emulsions sprays, and this is going to be a 6 micron and a 3 micron. And the reason I got those is because I already have from her the 15 and the 9 and the 1. So I was trying to best figure out a progression. So she marked these other ones, but let me do it here. 6 and 3. So Soul Built Mark Smith titanium bolt action Sharpie. Check it out. Fantastic product. I have videos on that. But basically I had these three and I was struggling a little bit with getting the edge the way I wanted it. And please know that I am not an expert. I am one of the least experienced people when it comes to stropping, sharpening. So everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. Okay? Asterisk, asterisk. But I want to learn to an extent. I don't want to be some crazy knife sharpening guru, but I want to be able to strop my knife or whatever. So I've kind of gotten into it a little bit. And this is a way for me to sort of sharpen without having to learn sharpening, because I seem to be okay at finding an angle and whatnot on a strop, But anyway, I was trying the 15, the 9, and the 1, and I felt like I wasn't getting there. And I think the reasoning was I didn't have anything in the middle, right? I was just like 15, 9, boom, all the way down to 1. Well, there's obviously a 6, there's a 3. I don't know if there's like a 7, 8, 9 too, or a 7 and 8 and a 4 and a 5. I don't know how that works. But I think I have a really good range here now. What I was doing in the meantime was, what I found that kind of worked was a 15, a 9, and then I would go to a green compound strop, and then I would hit the 1. And I felt like I got pretty good results with that, but I think this is going to make more sense. But with this comes needing more strops, right? And so luckily I've hit sort of a string of strops, and it's worked out. So I have one for each of these now that I can dedicate, which is good. And then I think I have one I can still use for green compound. So I should have enough altogether to get this done. One thing I want to note is these are, I believe, oh shit, now I can't remember. I think it's $18. So I think you pay $18 for a bottle of one of these. And that's pretty good as far as I understand. I think some companies charge like $40, $60. I don't know, for one bottle, and you can get one for $18 from her. And I'm sure if you buy multiple, maybe there's some kind of discount. She also makes strops now. So I bought this. I actually bought 2 of them. And what I understand is this is horse butt leather, which is sort of like your high quality leather. It's basically taken from the area of the horse as similar to the Cordovan leather, which is like really nice leather. And so anyway, it's horse butt leather. It's supposed to be a little firmer, and it's supposed to be very good for stropping, as I understand it. And then this is also glued onto, I believe it's called balsa wood. And you can actually strop on balsa wood as well. Now, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know if you could just take any one of these sides and if you put the emulsion on it or if you just strop on it. I don't know. I need to learn that. But I'm going to start with the leather. So I have these two, which is kind of perfect because I can just take the 6 and the 3, right? And I can pop it on those, and then I can just put a little 6 here, a little 3 there, right? And I'm good to go. But here are some options in terms of strops. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So you guys have your options, right? Price-wise, I believe these are like $25 from Lacey. Again, I think that's a pretty damn good price compared to what I've been paying from other companies for stuff. So definitely hit her up. You just hit her up on Instagram, I believe, and you just PayPal her and she ships it out. I can attest that I've gotten the products and there hasn't been any issue. And honestly, she's been a pleasure to chat with when it comes to learning about stropping and all that kind of stuff. I've asked questions and she just seems cool. So definitely check out Lacey for emulsions, for strops, for I believe she even sells stones, I'm not sure, and other stuff. I don't have an exhaustible list here. Then something really cool is my buddy Peter. I apologize again, dude. I'm not 100% sure. It's a Eastern European name, and I just don't want to say it wrong. But his Instagram goes under Pete, so I'm just going to go with Pete. And he invented this, or he made this 3D printed product. And I actually have a bunch of stuff here. Let me show you. So the first thing I got was this. And basically what his goal here was to have a transportable strop. So he travels a lot for work. And he wants to have something on him that he can just bring his edge back with, right? And he, I believe from talking to him, he's a proponent of just green compound. If you have a, good sharp edge and you're just trying to keep it sharp, the green compound works really well from what I understand from him. And I can attest to that because that's all I had before this, right? And you can do more damage with this stuff than you can with green compound. It's more forgiving. It cuts slower, away. It cuts material away slower or whatever. But anyway, he created this. It's a 1.5 inch by, we can just take a look here. So you got 6 inches there, looking like 8 inches. 6 by 8, right? Apologies, 1.5 by 8, and then we have another one down here that's 2 by 8. We'll talk about in a second. But this one's super lightweight. You just pop the lid off. He glued down the strop. This is the first one he made, I believe, for anybody other than him. So I don't know what this is. Just some kind of cow leather. I'm sure it's fine. I have my, where did I write it? I have the 15 micron on here, and you just pop it like that, and now you can strop, right? And if you're going to use this as your one and done type thing, I don't know if you'd put 15 micron on there. You might do something else. Not an expert on progressions and all that shit, so take it with a grain of salt. But this is one of the ones I had, and I have it set up so I know what I'm grabbing, right, as I'm doing my progression. So this is really cool, lightweight, would drop in a bag, a backpack, a duffel bag, a car, wherever, and you always would have a strop, but it's also protected. Very cool idea. So if you guys are interested in these, he is just starting to make these, and, he wants feedback. So I would love for you guys to hit him up and give him feedback on the idea, and let him know if you want one. You can, I think he's selling them, so you can hit him up and buy these. I don't know the price point. I I would expect to pay somewhere between $30 and $50 for this. You know, it's 3D printed, but you have the strop material in there. You have the time that it takes. It takes a long time to print shit on a 3D printer. So I would expect that price. So don't go over there expecting to pay $10 and then get all upset, right? But I'll link his Instagram in the description, and you guys can go hit him up and buy these. I'm pretty sure he'll just make them for people as they hit him up. So this is the 1.5 inch. Then he came up with a really cool idea, which is to take the leather and put it onto a piece of steel. So looks similar. It's not the same leather. I believe it is some kind of horse leather, but I'm not positive. It could still be rawhide, or sorry, be cow. This feels firm. It feels a little softer over here. I don't know what that means, but anyway, he took this, which is a 2x8, and he glued it onto a piece of steel. Why would he do that? Well, on this version, you have magnets. So one, it magnetizes on here, right? And then, not that this one will shake open, but I guess he just added it. And then you can pop it in here, and now, right, it's not coming out of there easy. And then the coolest part is these pop out. So you can get under this strop and you can pull it out. And because this has a steel backing, you can now take another one and lay that in. And now you have that one seated in. And you are good to go. So I think that's really cool. I don't think you can like stack them. I don't think this would work. Not a bad idea though, to if he made it to where you could, the lid was big enough that you could pop another one in there and seal it and then have two carried. But you could buy these, right? And then just pop the one in that you want to use at that moment, or the one you want to take with you at that moment. Personally, for me, this is perfect for an at-home kit. What I would do, and almost what I plan to do, if I didn't have all these strops now, I probably would. But I would buy like 5 of them, right? One for each micron. And then I could stack these. So instead of having loose strops like this, which would work, if you have a big enough like storage area, my problem is I have no space in my house. You know, we're like totally out of space at this point. So everything I do, I gotta like minimize something, get rid of something. Like it's always a whole thing, right? So I can't just have 20 strops laying around. Like it's just not how it goes. So what somebody could do is buy like 5 of these and just right on the back, you just take your Sharpie, right? And you write whatever for micron, and you're good to go, right? And then you can just check, okay, this is the 1 micron, and then you pop that one in and use it. And then, okay, I want to get in the 6 micron, you get that out, right? What I would do is buy these. I would buy this whole thing, right? I would buy like 5 of these. And then I would have one for each micron or whatever. So I could write it down here, whichever, micron it is. And then I'd have 5 of these just stacked up, right? Because they're all the same size. It's very uniform. It doesn't have an open strop sitting then on your desk or wherever. Because what can happen is you have 2 strops and they both have different, stuff on them, and they rub together. Now you have cross-contaminated them or whatever that's called. So I think it'd be really cool. And he could basically print a storage unit for this. Like he could print a little box that you could slot these into, or slot them in this way, however it would work. I would want them to stack vertical so I can keep it very slim. Because I keep all my stropping stuff between my case and my maintenance kit, which is like this much room. I slide everything in there. So every time I do that, I got to stack things a certain way so that they don't touch. And like, it's a little bit annoying. So for me, this would be the perfect solution to just have a few of these, each with the micron I want or whatever, and then just stack them in something or right on top of each other. And they have magnets in there. So, you know, they'll stay together in some sense, right? So I think these are really cool. If you guys are interested, hit up Pete. You can DM him on Instagram. If you guys need his email or something, you can let me know, and I'll try to get it for you. I can put it in the description if he's cool with that, because I know some of you guys aren't on Instagram. But he was curious to get feedback. So he's not just, you know, hoping that I show this and then, you know, you guys hit him up and buy them. He wants some feedback on it. Like, he wants to know, do you guys like this version better? The thinner one that is more permanent and it's just light. This is lighter weight because there's no magnets, right? It's just glued in. It's very lightweight. And, you know, he prefers this because it's more travel size and weight and everything, right? Where I prefer this because it's more modular and I like the size of it and I like the magnets and whatnot. And I'm not going to take this anywhere. I'm just going to stack these in my desk storage area or whatever. So these are really cool. He doesn't really have a name for them, but, you know, travel strops, something like that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of those. Really curious on that. Then I have, from Lancelot Leather, I have a couple things. And this one I need to throw away at this point. Now that I have all these other ones, I can throw this away and be done with it. Because I think maybe this is hurting me a little bit because of all the cuts and everything in it. This one has the 9 micron on it. And I think maybe I would be better off not using this because it's not super flat anymore. And I don't know. So, but anyway, I got this from Lancelot Leather. It's just literally a cut of leather. And I got this, you know, like a year ago, and I've used it, obviously. But you can get these, I believe, from him. I think I paid like $20, and he sent me this chunk of leather. I'm going to throw that away right now, actually. But then, he now sells these kind of flight tag strops. So you can get these. I think I saw on his website, these are like $50. I'm not sure if that's right. Maybe it was 30. But it seemed like a lot for what this is. But, oh, shit, now I feel like I might get that wrong. But it doesn't. It was 30 or 50, I believe. And it is the horse butt leather. So it is the good stuff. So that's important to note with the price point, right? And it has 2 sides, basically in the order you're going to use them. So you're going to use this side, which is a little coarser, and then you're going to use this side, it's a little finer. So you have 1, 2. And you can obviously add whatever you wanted to it. Then you got to just make sure you pay attention. And then you can hang this off of something. Or, you know, so like in my case, not having a lot of space, maybe this would be good. I could hang it off of stuff around my setup. And yeah, I could literally hang like 4 of these and they wouldn't get in the way. So I don't know how good they would be in terms of use because of the fact that they're very flimsy. Not very, but you get what I'm saying. They're not like hard like this stuff. So I don't know if you're supposed to put it down on just put it down on any surface, and then you got to figure that out. I don't think you're supposed to just hold it, or maybe you are supposed to just wrap your finger and then hold it like this. And then you go like this, you know, and then you go to this side. I'm not sure how that would work, but obviously plenty of people have experience with this type of a strop. I see them all over the place. You know, NAFS has something like it. So, yeah, cool product. He actually gave me a second one. I gave that away last night on the live stream. These dropped yesterday, which was the 25th of March. So hopefully he has more, and you guys can pick these up if you're interested. So Lancelot Leather definitely has some, obviously, leather goods, and Strops is one of those. So check his site out. Then the last thing I wanted to show you is an affordable option. So this is going to be a Beavercraft paddle strop off of Amazon. And I'll be honest, this might be my favorite one because it's a paddle and it's just so easy to hold and use. I mean, it really makes it so much easier to hold and use than like a block. But I haven't tried this yet, so maybe the block will be good, just putting it on the table and using it, right? But like trying to figure out where to put this, because I don't know if you can get the pressure you need with this, but maybe, you know, that's a good thing because you're not supposed to put a ton of pressure. I don't know. But anyway, this one I have set up with the 1 micron, and then I have the green, it's like basically clean / green compound on here. I didn't go crazy with it. And this is what I was using. I was doing the 15, the 9, and then the green, and then hitting the 1. And that seemed to work pretty well. But I just like the paddle strop feel. So honestly, if I could get one of these with like the good leather on it, I'd be pretty happy with that, I think. This is just cheap, you know, cow leather, which works, guys. It really does. Honestly, I had great results with this when I just had green compound and then a clean side. And I would just do the green compound, and then I would go over to the clean side and do that. And I seemed to get pretty good results when I was just bringing an edge that was sharp back a little bit, if that makes sense. You know, if it's a knife that's dulled out, you're just not really going to have that good of a time getting it super sharp again with green compound and a clean strop, right? That's where, you know, the 15 micron and the 9 comes in. You kind of can work your way back to a good edge, and we'll see how that works over time. I have done that with like my pony stout prototype here. I went through that full progression, and man, it's sticky sharp. But that's how it came from factory, and then I used it for quite a bit. And it was not cutting paper great. That's kind of my test. And then I got it back to basically doing like S-cuts and shaving hair and stuff. So I think I did pretty good with that. But I had other knives that didn't have as good of results. And I think... so anyway, I'll hit that in a second. But Beavercraft, you can pick these up on Amazon for like 15, 20 bucks. I'll link it down below. So if you want the cheap option, here you go. But I do recommend that you guys support people in the community. So whether it be somebody like Lacey, Joe from Lancelot Leather, you know, or my buddy Pete, you know, just I think it's good to support the people in our community who are making cool stuff. Like, I'd rather spend twice the money and get something made by somebody I know than just get it on Amazon from China or whatever, you know. But obviously there's exceptions to all that, and people's budgets are all different. So what I was going to go into is the results. Well, again, I'm not an expert, guys, so, you know, I would love the experts to chime in on this. The steel is very important. This knife right here is in 14C 28N, which is like notoriously, as far as I understand, one of the best steels when it comes to stropping. Some steels respond to a leather strop way more than others, right? I don't have a list or anything of the ones that don't, but I feel sort of like a lot of M390 that I've tried to strop it's been a little bit difficult to get it back. But again, I don't have a ton of experience. LC200N feels like it is good when it comes to stropping, because I did it with my Roosevelt, even on just the green compound and the you know, standard leather, and had really good results with that. But it's been hit or miss with M390. And I think part of that is just every knife is different when it comes to M390, obviously, and the heat treat is important. I'm going to clean up this Ace Atelier, and I think maybe we'll try to see if we can test out some of this stuff while we're here. I have tape gunk all over this thing. So quick shout out. Here's another company that's really good when it comes to this aspect of things. Knife maintenance is Knife Pivot Lube. Go check them out. knifepivotlube.com/lefty10. Use my code lefty10 at checkout. But they have some amazing products. Knife Shield is by far my favorite. And you'll see here in a second why. You guys have been watching the video where this knife has been on the table with tape gunk all over it. And you just put a little bit of Knife Shield and maybe a slight bit of elbow grease if you have a ton of tape gunk on your knife. And it will basically just all come off. It's pretty insane how easy it is compared to something like, you know, rubbing alcohol or whatever, right? Let me just see. Yeah. Let me get this side. It leaves a bit of a residue, so you kind of got to, unless you want the full rust protection, because it also offers that, you got to just give it a wipe down after. But you can see here that tape gunk is gone, you know? And man, this really does have a sticky sharp edge. So don't know if it's one of the knives that we really need to mess with. And like I said, I don't even know how good I am at this stuff, but let's see. So yeah, it's got a good bite to it, you know? So let's see. In this case, because of how sticky it is, I'm thinking I'm just going to go right to this 1 micron that I have. Or maybe I'll hit the compound and then do it, because I don't have the emulsion set up. So basically what I'm going to do is just try to go back and forth on it like 15 times. So 7 to 8 times on each side. I'm going to try to find the angle, which that, you know, I kind of just feel it, and I am not an expert, so I don't have a good method to tell you. But I will say that it's not as difficult as I expected it to be. And then one thing I would note is you want to use your elbow. So you want to kind of like pull your elbow out, so when you're going back, you don't want to just pull your wrist down, right, to get the blade down. You want to use your elbow to kind of lift up, and it'll kind of drag that tip through, and it should be holding that angle, right? That's kind of the point of that. But don't just like twist your wrists or anything. I used to twist the strop. Like I would kind of slowly bend the strop as I went to try to hit it, and that kind of works, I think, but the elbow thing works better. Okay, so we hit the compound. Yeah, now it feels a little cleaner. I like to hit it on my jeans in between. I don't know why, I just like to do that. So now, yeah, I mean, I don't even think I should hit the 1 micron, but I'm gonna do it just to do it. But that was smooth as butter, and I'm literally just gonna do a few passes because I don't think I need to even do more. Okay. So then I'll hit my jeans again. Check it. Oh, shit, yeah. So now, I mean, now I'm doing S cuts on it, basically. So, you know, that example is basically what I look to do. On a knife, I usually, because as you guys know, I am not a hard user, right? I am somebody who just wants my knife to feel sticky sharp and cut paper really well. You'll notice that if you hit that 1 micron a little bit, I only hit it like 3 times, but I've actually gotten knives to have like a little bit of almost a shimmer, not like a mirror edge, but just a little bit, which is pretty cool to see. But I'm not a hard user, right? So I just want my edge to stay as sticky sharp as it was, right? Now, you don't want to, I don't think you want to, what I was talking to somebody, it was Kyle Coonley, I think, who has done a lot of sharpening of my knives. Shout out to him. If you're looking for sharpening services, highly recommend Kyle Coonley, who on Instagram is Klingenwerk Sharpening, I believe. And then you also have Lacey, who I mentioned before, who has the emulsions. She also sharpens. And then you have Corey Dunlap. He has a nice website where you can just go on, pay, you know, you ship it there, it comes back. Like, you don't have to, you know, interact with anybody if you're one of those people like my wife who won't call for pizza. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there, so if I left anybody out, I apologize. But Kyle was telling me you don't want to overstrop. And basically what that means is you just like keep trying to get it sharper and sharper, or you know, you strop it and then you use the knife once on paper and then you go and strop it again. Like, then you're you know, basically when you're stropping, what I think you're doing is kind of just you're sort of slightly bending the apex back and forth, sort of, I think, and kind of cleaning it up. But if you overdo that, you can roll it, right? And so you don't want to overstrop, so especially with the emulsions, as I understand it. You can fuck your edge up by overdoing it, right? They say to only hit it, you know, whatever, like 6 to 8 times on each side with each micron. Now, that could depend on what you're doing progression-wise, and again, not an expert, but I'm just throwing generalities and shit I've heard out there. So you don't want to overdo it, basically. But what I like to do is I get a knife, and a lot of times the factory edge is not stupid sharp. It's sharp enough, or they basically gave you a good ground level, right? For me, there's people out there like Jared Neve or whoever that, because they can put a ridiculously sharp edge on something, a factory edge is kind of like, you know, so they kind of want to put their edge on things. And I get that. That'd be awesome. But for me, it's like, I just want the factory edge to be good, and then I'm happy trying to maintain that as long as I can. Especially, like I said, because I don't use my knives like crazy, and I have enough that, you know, I'm constantly getting new ones in, and like, so it's just not really a huge concern where I need to sharpen stuff all the time. But, you know, my Jack Wolves have probably been the things I've stropped the most because I carry those regularly. I basically always have one in my pocket as a secondary. So, and it's what gets used a lot of times, especially if I'm, you know, I have something expensive in the other pocket, or I should say, you know, more premium, more, you know, something I'm less likely to use, where those are all kind of users for me. But anyway, my point is, sometimes out of the box, the edge is not perfect, and you just need, you know, stropping it will basically bring that knife to life. Like, the manufacturer did a really good job putting a base on it with a belt and whatever, but they're not going to take the time to strop your knife, right, before they ship it. So you're kind of just doing that last step to get it, like, really good. And a lot of times that happens. I'll just strop it after I do an unboxing or whatever, and then it's like really good. And I really enjoy that aspect of it. Or I'll use it, like in the case of this knife, I've been carrying this for 3 or 4 days straight now. I absolutely love this knife, just fallen in love with it. And so I've used the shit out of it. I just happen to have gotten a lot of boxes, and so I've cut a lot of cardboard, cut a lot of tape and whatnot. Nothing crazy. So it's been, you know, enough to, you know, do a little bit to the edge and gunk it up and whatnot. So just cleaning it off with Knife Shield and then stropping it, I mean, this thing feels sharper than it did out of the box. Actually, I have another one. So, out of the box, doing wave cuts. So that felt really good, actually. Let's see. Close. I will admit that felt a little bit cleaner. I could probably, it almost, I don't want to admit it, but it almost felt like before I did, this is what worries me about the emulsions. I almost feel like I have better luck with just the compound, and I need to sometimes just stick to one thing, you know, like I want to do the full progression and I want to make it as sharp as possible, but maybe it doesn't need to go down to 1 micron. Like I just need a better understanding of how that all works personally, I think. And that would help a lot. But, you know, I like to do things the hard way. So I'm going to learn it by doing it. Okay. So that was the full kind of 8 on each side for this guy. Yeah. And there it is. So, I mean, it's sharp as shit. But I don't think it's quite... I don't think it's quite as sharp as it was out of the box. Now, this is actually a different knife, so, you know, it's not the same exact edge. They obviously are having a human being put the edge on that, so could be that micarta one just happens to have a better edge on it, but I would say that I am, you know, 95% there with this one to the factory out of the box edge, and I think that's solid. That's what you want, basically. You know, your goal is to keep it fresh, you know. So anyway, these knives are great, by the way. This one doesn't have any stick or anything. This one has just such a good detent, though. I love it. All right, I think that's really all I wanted to cover in terms of, you know, stropping, and then I just wanted to discuss it, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on these products, what you think about his design. I think it's awesome. I really do. I bought this one, and then he gave me the bigger one to test out, so I was on board with the idea, you know, well before he sent me one to just review. I just think it's a really cool concept, and I would love to get like a stack of them. But now I just have so many strops. It's like, what am I doing? So, yeah, I think stropping's cool. I think it's a fun thing to learn. I think it's different than sharpening. I think it doesn't get as much attention. You know, you always are hearing about everybody's, you know, mirror edge they can do, and the KMEs and the wicked edges and shit. You can get a paddle strop and some compound for $20, and I think it goes a long fucking way if you don't have any of that other stuff. You know, if you're just EDCing your knives and you have a collection, you're more than likely rarely gonna need the full sharpening. I mean, honestly, the only times that I really need a full sharpening is when A, the factory edge is just not that good and I want it to be better, or B, I chip the knife, right? Whether the design is flawed, so it's bottoming out or something, and it's chipping it, and I need to work that out, or I've chipped it on shit on accident, or, you know, sometimes you're fidgeting with a knife and you accidentally slam it down on the edge, you know, and you chip it, or whatever. You can't always easily strop that out, so you got to send it out, basically. But it's pretty rare that I use a knife enough that it needs to be sharpened, if that makes sense. I can usually just get it stropped back to where I like it and be good. But I'm also not a heavy user, so my mileage on that is going to be way different than somebody who uses the same knife for 3 weeks straight. You know what I mean? That's the guy you want to talk to if he strops. So definitely get your information from multiple places. Don't just listen to me. But all I'm saying is I'm pro strop, and there are cool products and things out there you can get, and there are affordable options, right? From what I understand, if you just want like a good working type edge, you could probably just get like 1 or 2 of these. You could probably get like the 15 and the 6 or something, you know? So if you have a knife that's not that sharp, you could use this to kind of get it back to working sharp, and then use the 6 to kind of hone it a little bit. But it's not like, you know, it's not going to be mirror polished looking or whatever, right? You don't need all these. I'm a maniac. This is what I do. I go down rabbit holes. I now have fucking 7 strops and fucking 5 different diamond emulsions, and I've stropped 3 knives, you know, with them. Not, you know, in general. I'm just a maniac. So, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. I know a lot of you guys are good at this stuff. You're experienced in this way more than I am, and I want that information in the comment section. Please let this comment section be a good place for people to go and get information. Nobody needs to leave a comment telling me how stupid I am about this thing I did or that thing I did. I know. All right, I know I'm not an expert at this. So, I love you guys truly and dearly. Check the description. I really want to give these people, you know, some love. And hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will catch you later.